Hey everybody, I'm Sabrina Diaz, Emerald Ambassador, and tonight we are going to touch on one of my absolute favorite topics. It is all about events, but I really love the in-person, and I'm going to have my co-host Kristen tonight, and I'm going to be asking her some questions because if there is ever somebody that has taken it by storm, this is her field. This is what she does the best, and I've really wanted to just bring her on. But before we do anything, I want to bring on my good friend Lauren Lombardo so she can give her testimony for everybody to hear. So, Lauren, you can go ahead and unmute, love.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great night. My testimony, I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet, is that I started Plexus looking for a light at the end of the tunnel. I thought it was like anything else. I said, let me give it a try, right? I've tried everything else. I reached out to Kristen. She put me on some great products. I truly did care. I didn't want to hear about gut health. I just wanted weight loss. Like, that's it. Get the baby weight off. I don't care if my gut is healthy or not. I want the baby weight off. Um, she listened to my requests and what I wanted, guided me. I was on the products, I was off the products. I didn't take them consistently. I was on them again, then I paused, and so on and so forth. Long story short, I go on vacation with my family, a whole family vacation that we had planned. I bought all these great clothes. I bought the clothes while I was on Plexus. I tried them all on. I was like, oh, these look really great. Great, good to go. Packed my bags, take all my products with me. We were in the Bahamas. It was beautiful weather. It was hot, shorts, tank tops, bathing suits, the whole nine. I get there and I'm so busy worried about everybody else that I don't even take my products. I brought them there with me. I carried them there in my suitcase and everything. I don't even think I drank a stick of Slim once. I didn't take my probiotics. I didn't take anything that I brought with me. While I'm there, unbeknownst to me, I'm like, everything I put on looks like trash. I look like garbage. None of these clothes fit me. They fit me when I tried them on. I don't look the same. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was from flying. I thought it was from, I don't know, the food, whatever. Fast forward to getting back home. I'm back into my routine. I start taking my products again, and I feel a world of a difference. And I'm like, oh my goodness, these products are what's making me feel different, truly. And I didn't fully believe it at first because, like I said, I went on the products, I went off the products. I tried them, not thinking that they were actually going to do anything different than other things that I've tried and maybe were successful with for a short period of time and then ended up failing. Um, and I had to feel worse off the products to realize what they were actually doing for me. And so I didn't realize the little wins. I'm sleeping a little bit better. My skin is cleared up. I have more energy. I had two small kids at the time when I started. And when I tell you, I will never, ever, ever go a day without my products again because I know what it feels like to be off of them. And so being on them truly, truly made a world of a difference for me, for my family. My husband is on them, my kids are on them, my parents are on them, my sister is on them. Like it just trickles into a family effect almost. And every single person who has tried them love them. And when they go off of it, they feel the same. And so sometimes if you don't feel the wins that you're looking for in the moment, um, my advice to you is don't give up. Stick with it. Stay consistent. Keep going. Speak to the person who brought you in. Sometimes there's ways to tweak things that you don't know about, and don't be like me. Moral of the story: do not come off of them to feel like garbage in order to realize what they're actually doing for you. Count the small blessings, count the small wins, and in the long run, you'll end up really being thankful that you did not give up. And so I hope I didn't take up too much of anybody's time. I hope this resonated with some of you guys. Stick with it and speak to your upline because there are so many different ways to tweak everything. And whatever you do, don't stop. Not even for a day. Like, don't miss one day. So, everybody, have a great night. Thank you for letting me share. Thank you for bringing me on. And I can't wait to hear from Kristen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And listen, guys, that's a huge testament. Just she didn't take her products. She kind of fell off. She was in and out, and she is here as a business builder. Don't give up on your people. Love them through it. And thank you so much for being here, Laura. All right, guys, going back to events. So I'm going to start off with something like maybe it's going to touch you a little bit. And if that's okay, it's going to be okay. Okay. I promise you. But my biggest pet peeve is when I hear somebody says, I have nobody left to talk to. And I think to myself, and I get real quiet and I'm like, really? Hmm, I beg to differ, because there is several things that we can do, but it really narrows down to events. Events equals new people, new conversations, new opportunities, new faces. And a lot of times, and I'm going to let you hear from Kristen, it's even better that you don't know the people. You just come off a little bit different, a little bit more confident. And that's what I'm going to talk about tonight. Seven different, I came up with seven different points. There's several more, but these were the ones that really just stuck out to me. Number one, guys, you are in charge of your own events. You don't need to wait on anybody. Yes, it can seem scary. It can seem intimidating, but this is all normal. That's all part of growing a business that is worth your while, that is something that you want really desperately. This is the way to start talking to those people. This is just the perfect way to jump right in and grow your business because nobody has left a successful event. And I'm going to show you how to get a successful event, but nobody has left one with an empty funnel. And so I'm going to give you some really simple steps, but don't miss any of the steps. Okay. If you need to take notes, that's fine. If you need to rewatch the recording, but let's get into it. So my number two, guys, plan. You need to know what kind of environment this is. Lean in, but also stand out. What are you getting into? What kind of event is this? Be intentional with your setup. Be intentional with the energy that you bring. Do your homework on this event. What are some questions that you can ask? Are there videos that you can watch? Previous events that they have hosted. What is the room? What does it look like? What is your main source of people coming in? Is it a wellness event? Is it a business event? Is this a craft show? What is going to make you a little bit different? Okay. Go to maybe an event even before you go to yours and observe. Okay. When you get into an event, and if you've done some of the big ones, like Kristen and Lauren and I have done, like there was thousands of people there, you have to ask yourself, what is going to catch somebody's eye? There's so many things going on. There's so many senses. There's smells, sights. You're hearing things. There's music going on. What is going to captivate them and lead them to your booth? Because nothing is going to stand out unless you are intentional. So go to an event before you have yours and see what sticks out to you. What is it? Something blue and shiny on somebody's table? Is it a prop that somebody has? Is it the way that they're dressed? Is it their setup? What is something that is going to attract you to that space, and jot it down, because that you are your own best critic. And if it's going to get your attention, it's going to get somebody else's. So talking about your table, I've seen this too many times where there's a table and there is just so much stuff on the table. You can't figure out what the actual product is that these people are talking about. So if you have a table, guys, have a clean tablecloth, keep it very clear, have your empty products on there, have clear images. have empty capsule containers, but sparingly. And something that I started off doing in the beginning that I have retracted, I had started with 3 different flavor drinks. I never go to an event now with anything else than Slim. I only show up with Slim, and I really, really want them to ask about the other flavors because you're giving them a teaser. If you give them everything all at once, they have nothing to look forward to, right? So you can even have them try Slim and then have like a 3-day sample pack ready to go and sell it to them maybe for $15, and they can try the active and they can try hydrate as well. But if you give it all to them, they have nothing left to look forward to. So on your table, have a really pretty, and listen, we're not doing grandma's container over here. Get a nice jug, something pretty, something that you can see through. I recommend glass. Okay. Make sure that they can see that beautiful pink color. It's going to captivate. If you have nothing else on your setup, make sure you have a clear jug with the pink drink in it. And right next to it, you should have the patent right there on your setup. That way they can see it. They know what they're getting into. They know what's in the jug. There's no second guessing. And then all of the information is right there to just back up exactly what you're saying. Okay. Make sure it's just really inviting. There's nothing worse than showing up or walking up to a space and it is intimidating. It's overwhelming. There's so much stuff going on that it just creates an immediate disconnect. I've watched other vendors, and bless their souls, they're trying their best and they're out there, but people just walk right past them. Don't let that be you. All right. So my favorite saying is, if someone with ADHD walked by your booth, what would make them stop? I have to think about this all the time. What would make my daughter stop? And it's going to be different from everybody, but see what works for you. Make sure that you have something that stands out. My girls and I, we have a champagne wall. It has been one of the most amazing features that we have had. And it's different than the rest. It's different than what anybody else brings with them. I kid you not, we were dragging this champagne wall into this big venue, but just with it, behind us, and people are staring at us like, what is that? That is what made our booth so successful. We gave them an appetizer walking in, and then they looked for us once we were there. All right. This is also part of the same sequence. Do not show up with nothing on your shirt. Don't show up without the logo or something that you're representing on your body. You are not just representing yourself at your booth. You represent yourself when you go to the bathroom, when you go and get a drink, when you step outside to take a phone call. You have to have something visual that people know who you are with you at all times. Don't slack on that. Look professional and have something on. If it's a hat, if it's a logo on your shirt, something that is going to keep the name of the business on you at all times. So, number 4, and this is something my team and I do, and I recommend it if you have a lot of teammates in the same town as you. We created one box. We have a event box that we just pass to each other. Tova and I kind of sat down and we were like, what do we need most in this? What is good? Nobody is going to start off with a ton of empty capsule packages. Nobody's going to start off having all of the information, but if you have it in one spot and everybody contributes, you end up having an incredible setup that's very clean and consistent every time. And there's not a lot of confusion because it's right there in the box. You know what to set up. You can open it the day before, kind of sift through everything, making sure that you have let me see, some pens. You absolutely need to have some pens. You need something to write on. You need something that's going to get their names, their addresses, their phone number, something that you can get tangible to start building that funnel. All right. So work smarter as a team, not harder. Don't recreate the wheel. If your upline has something that you can just pick up, I have two size tables at my house. I have a champagne wall. Not a lot of people come for the champagne wall, but it's available. And we have a bin full of all of the props that we use every single time. There's just no confusion. Set your people up for success. Always make sure you have a clean tablecloth though. Every single time. After the event, take it off because you're going to have some pink drink on there and you don't want stains on your tablecloth. So make sure that you have a clean tablecloth. It's one of my pet peeves. All right, guys. So let me go down. All right. When you have your booth, and we were just talking about what's going to make somebody stop, you need, and I said need, yes, to create an experience. This isn't something to just pass and go. The best thing that we did, and I'm going to give you our secret, we walked around with little shot glasses of the pink drink into the aisle and offered it to people walking past. And then we told them, come on, step in, come check out everything else we have. And that's when it looked like more or less like a living room feel, very comforting, very open and inviting space. It was key. When I tell you we had a line of people waiting to get into our booth, and we weren't the only one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but was there like 1,000 vendors? Probably even more, something like that. And there was a line waiting to get into our booth because we made it an experience. So don't just sit back. Don't just expect your table to speak. Okay. Stand in front of your table and invite people in, get out there and interact, create that experience, have the samples, have something incredible and eye-catching, have something. Okay. But you're going to need to plan because the day of the event is not the time to figure that out. You have to plan before you go. I already talked about the brand. Dress nice. Have something that proudly represents you wherever you are. Let's see. Your attire goes a really long way. They're going to look for professionalism. They're going to, if you show up in your posture and you're confident, that's where you attract those business builders that want to be more like that. All right. And then number 7, guys, show up. I do events alone. I do events with teammates. I will never, ever put or not go to an event because I have nobody to go with me. You can't rely on somebody else to go with you at all times. You have to show up for you. Nobody else is going to create that paycheck that you want to see but you. Okay. Present your products with confidence, present with posture. That is the name of the game. Okay. When you go to these events, you own it. You own the environment. So speaking of owning the environment, I'm going to transition to Kristen and I'm going to give you a little bit about Kristen. Her story is so powerful. She came into this business. She was living in New Jersey and very quickly moved to Florida. And from Jersey, well, starting in New York, then New Jersey to Florida, that is a massive, massive transition. Okay. You don't know a single soul. It's very hard. And she had 2 choices. She could have shut down, or she did exactly what she did, was doing her own events, and it fueled her. So Kristen is a proud Ruby sitting here because she didn't give up. So I have some questions for you, Kristen. And first, if you want to just quickly just introduce yourself, and then we'll get into those questions.
I feel like you did such a good job. Better than I could for myself. Yes, I'm just so honored to be here to talk to all you guys. And moving is scary. And no, I did not know a single soul. The move came quickly and unexpectedly. And at the time, I was senior gold. I went senior gold pretty quick. Just to keep it real with you guys, Ruby took about a year after my move. But 6 months after I moved, I did my first solo event ever. Actually, I really want to say my first event ever. And so that's why Sabrina was kind enough to ask me to talk tonight. Because since then, I think I've done about 15 since I've moved here, and that's been about 3.5 years ago. So I love events.
Queen right here. So, Kristen,
Yeah.
were you nervous about doing your first event?
Of course. I think that's totally normal. And you have to normalize that for your team. It is nerve-wracking, especially doing it by yourself. I think the scariest thing is what if they ask me something I don't know the answer to? Especially if you're new and you don't have somebody there to kind of, pass the baton off to if you don't know something right then and there. But I found that not having the answer to every single question made me more relatable and not, super, science-y or anything. I just was really relatable with it. Like, that's a great question. And I definitely am going to get you the answer. And it's just a good way to follow up. It's a great connect. Sabrina touched on having that list. That is so vital to make sure you have something down to get their information because the goal of the event is not necessarily the joins on the spot. The goal is to fill that funnel. So, yes, but definitely it was nerve-wracking for sure.
All right. So, my next question to follow that up is what pushed you to do it even though you were by yourself?
Well, like I said, moving was scary and nerve-wracking with two little kids and no family and no friends around. My business had such momentum back in the Northeast because that's just where all my friends and family were. So like I mentioned, I went senior gold pretty quickly, just in my first couple of months. Just I had my people right there to touch, to be in front of. And now I was too passionate about this to just let it fizzle out or die out or get too distracted to let it go. And I just knew that I had to put myself in front of fresh people. And Sabrina did mention this, but it is so true, you guys. Like sometimes it is easier getting in front of complete strangers. They don't know you, they don't know anything about you or your background. It's kind of like a fresh start. And so it actually, which we'll touch on this later, but it popped up that they were having a health and wellness event in my town, and I just jumped on it, nervous and all. I just was like, okay, well, this might be the perfect way to just even meet new people in general, just to kind of make some friends and get to know the community.
Amazing. All right. So, you've done so many of these events. What keeps you going back to them?
Um, I don't think it ever gets old to watch people excited. Um, it just never gets old. And you're going to find them every single time you do it. Sometimes it will vary. Sometimes that, list of people interested is going to be super long, and sometimes it's going to be really short. And that doesn't mean that's a failed event. That just means that, even if you get one new person, that's really the goal, you guys, is just to touch one new person and just to keep that momentum going. And it just doesn't get old that when you talk about this topic to people, that they're more interested than you think, that they need it more than you know, that you just walk away feeling like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. I would have never met that person. She's a complete stranger. He's a complete stranger. And that feeling after an event, just you can't buy that. You can't, it doesn't happen on the internet the same way it does in person. So that keeps me going. Just the fresh new people. Who am I going to meet that's going to be excited and who's going to have been looking for this? And here I am showing up and I'm able to offer it to them.
Love that. All right. What's one thing you always make sure that you have at every single event?
Well, you mentioned the patent, and I always make sure I have the patent because you guys, that little piece of paper in and of itself, I always have it framed somewhere on my display because that separates us right there. We did that big event, and there were a few other wellness companies right alongside of us. So, aside from the beautiful display and the eye-catching and your posture and all of that, that simple piece of paper definitely elevates the product. Well, what makes it different? Well, here you go. We are patented. While it might be similar, it is not this. That's number one. And I would say the next top one is our gut health checklist. I have that printed and framed. That is such a good conversation piece because when somebody's kind of like looking and like, I'm like, hey, does any of this resonate with you? Do you see yourself in any of these things? And I'm going to tell you the percentage is almost at 100% that somebody's going to pick more than one thing off that checklist. And right there, you're in conversation because this is what we cover. So definitely gut health checklist is, if not more important, just as important as the patent for sure.
Yes, that checklist, I can't say enough. That's your key in, that's your conversation starter. Okay, I have one more for you. If someone is brand new, what's the first step they should take?
I would, if you're looking for an in-person event, I would definitely just get on the internet. Go to get yourself a local newsletter. Maybe sometimes in the library they have it posted. See what's going on in your area. I would definitely see if there's anything health and wellness related, because then it's like shooting fish in a barrel because the people are coming looking for health and wellness. Now, I'm not saying regular vendor events are bad or there's anything wrong with that. They're great. And I have found some amazing people. I've actually gotten two business builders from in-person events, complete strangers I would have never known in my life. Actually, three, Christina too, if it wasn't for in-person events. But if you could find a local health and wellness event, sometimes even going to a Pilates studio or your gym, you could ask, hey, can I set up for an hour and do some samples? There's so many outlets. I would start there if you're brand new and looking to get into the space. What's going on in your area? It's a simple Google, like vendor events in my area, and just start, weeding it out. And I like filling up my calendar with this. I look forward to it. I try to do about 3 or 4 a year. And then, and it's just so fun. Plexus puts out fun things for us to do, different combination of drinks. Sabrina made a great point. Read the crowd of where you're going. If I am going to a general vendor event and there might be a lot of kids, I'm going to maybe bring the triplex and the kids line. If I'm going to a Pilates studio, I'm going to focus on our, workout, weight loss, active lifestyle, obviously always triplex, but keeping it simple also really helps keeping the conversation on point. Because you guys, if you have too much on that table and you're nervous, you're going to start word vomiting and talking about every single thing you have on display, and you just watch people glaze over. The less you have, the less you have to touch on. It keeps it super focused for them and for you. And then if they are looking for more, it's again just a great way to follow up with them and touch base with them. And that's the point. I've had the funnel filled because of in-person events. So definitely look into what's going on in your area.
Thank you so much for your input tonight. The queen of events is right here. But in closing, guys, events aren't just about selling, okay? They're about connecting, they're about growing, they're about putting yourself out there, surprising yourself of what you can become. So this is what I say to you, commit to one event, just one, okay? And just see how it goes. All right, stop waiting until you feel ready. Stop waiting until it's the perfect time. Plan out. Even if you get one that's in August, that's a perfect time to start planning it now so you can build up all of your things and your confidence. But I'm going to leave you with this. Confidence does not come before you start. It comes because you start. So guys, get to an event. Thank you so much for being here tonight and ask all those questions. Have a good night.